In the sprawling, bustling city of New York, there lived a bright and curious boy named Peter Parker. Peter was 15 years old and lived with his Aunt May in a small house. He was skinny with brown hair and brown eyes, wore glasses, and loved science and technology, spending much of his time reading and conducting scientific experiments in his small room. Despite his intelligence, Peter suffered from bullying at school and didn't have many friends, except for his close friend Ned Leeds, who shared his interest in technology and inventions. One day, the school decided to organize a trip to a large scientific laboratory called Oscorp. Peter was incredibly excited about this trip as there was a special display of genetically modified spiders. During the tour of the lab, while Peter wore his favorite shirt with a scientist's logo and carried his notebook, he admired the various spiders on display. Suddenly, a small, colorful spider escaped from its container and bit him on the hand. Peter felt a slight sting but didn't think much of it. At first, Peter didn't notice any changes, but in the following days, he began to observe strange things happening to him. He found he could jump long distances, easily climb walls, and shoot webs from his hands. Peter was astonished and excited, secretly training to use his new powers. He wore his regular clothes during training but was careful not to reveal his abilities to anyone. Peter decided to use these powers to help people and fight crime in his city. Using his sewing and design skills, he created a red and blue suit inspired by a spider, complete with a mask to hide his identity. He called himself Spider-Man. Peter began chasing down robbers and saving people in danger, becoming a beloved hero in the city, although he worked undercover. Peter felt proud of his achievements, but knew he had to keep his identity secret to protect his loved ones. One night, while Peter was roaming the city in his Spider-Man suit, he heard cries for help coming from a burning building. Peter quickly jumped into action and arrived at the scene where he saw a young boy named Tommy trapped on the upper floor. Wearing his iconic suit and armed with his web-slinging abilities, Peter climbed the walls and grabbed the child, bringing him safely to the ground. Tommy and his family thanked him warmly, and Peter felt an overwhelming joy for having saved a life. In one of his adventures, Peter encountered a mysterious figure named Doctor Octopus, an evil scientist with powerful mechanical arms. Dr. Octopus was tall, wore a white lab coat, and had 4 mechanical arms that moved with great speed and precision. He planned to take over the city and use his mechanical arms for nefarious purposes. An epic battle ensued between Spider-Man and Doctor Octopus, with Peter using all his strength and wit to defeat this dangerous foe. Wearing his suit and employing his webbing skills in combat, Peter relied on his speed and agility. Despite all his heroic adventures, Peter was trying to balance his life as a teenage student and as Spider-Man. He worked hard at school and spent time with his Aunt May, who always provided him with support and love. He knew he had to keep his identity secret to protect his loved ones. At school, he wore ordinary clothes and tried to stay out of sight, but was always ready to transform into Spider-Man when needed. One day, Peter discovered a new gang called the Sinister Six planning to take over the city. The gang consisted of 6 villains, each with special powers. Peter knew this would be the toughest battle of his life, but he was ready to face the challenge. He analyzed the gang members and gathered information about them, as each posed a unique threat with their specific abilities. Peter began to monitor the Sinister Six and collect information on them. He used his intellect and technology to analyze their weaknesses and devise a plan to defeat them. Peter received help from his friends at school, particularly Ned and Mary Jane Watson, who had become a close and supportive friend. After defeating the Sinister Six, Peter returned to his normal life as a teenage student. He continued to help people as Spider-Man while balancing his studies and family relationships. Peter learned that true strength comes from the heart, courage, and determination, and remained a symbol of hope and justice in New York. He kept up with his training and enhanced his skills, ready to face any new threats. Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man, remained a beloved hero in his city, achieving a balance between being a superhero and an ordinary teenager. His story was an inspiration to all, teaching that courage and perseverance can make anyone a hero. Peter lived a life full of adventures and challenges, seeking justice and helping others. He looked forward to the future with confidence, ready for any new adventure that might come his way.